lesson in school in the context of studying the Holocaust, and I learned it even earlier in the context of something as small as picking up trash. My first newspaper article was for my 5th grade paper, an editorial about being a first-class citizen by not only not littering, but when you see somebody who's left trash on the ground, bending over, picking it up, stuffing it in your pocket, and putting it in the proper receptacle. That was an easy standard to hold in 5th grade, but it's still the standard for me, and it's the drive to be a first-class citizen that drives me to this Senate seat race now. A few weeks ago, I decided to get off the sidelines and go down to a school board meeting. I was there for 8.5 hours while teachers, students, community activists, elected officials, school board members all debated about school issues and school reform. I heard 5 hours of testimony, and I was inspired by the students from Montbello High who demonstrated that they were ready to take control of their education and save their neighborhood schools. They redefined participation, and they added passion and accountability into the mix. At 1:30 a.m. when the vote came down 4-3, I was emotionally devastated, emotionally exhausted, but I was fueled to go on and keep working for the ideal and follow the example of those students who were taking responsibility to give themselves a better future. My involvement with the Democratic Party has been about making my community better. That's been my goal, to take the idealism of grassroots Democrats and channel it into action. And I'm proud to say we've done that. Now more than ever, we're going to need inspired leadership in the Senate to bring about action. I ran for secretary to offer leadership to the party, and I've delivered on that promise. I've helped unite the party through an articulate message in a weekly newsletter that consistently connects our ideals to a call for action. I've used the website as a tool for organizing. I worked with the Public Policy Committee to energize voters around issues. I've led canvasses on everything from the Recovery Act to healthcare, and I've organized educational outreach forums and action campaigns covering everything from affordable housing to the DREAM Act and launching the ground game to defeat Initiatives 60, 61, and 101. Through my term as secretary, my commitment to building and strengthening our party has continually grown. I've turned a volunteer opportunity into a full-time labor of love, and I've been sincerely dedicated to representing all of Denver as one of your elected officers. I've been actively involved in all 9 House districts because I've recognized the strength in bringing those distinct factions together and learning from every corner of the county. I come to your meetings, I attend your events, I work for your issues, I reach out to your voters, I try to communicate your values and ideals, I'm accessible and I'm responsive. I'm a product of our party. I'm a grassroots guy, I work in the trenches, I hold on to my foundation as a PCP, I'm accepting the responsibility of being a county officer, and I'm now ready to answer another call and serve in the Senate. If we can take more Democrats and encourage them to venture out on that kind of journey and ensure that they move forward with the necessary intelligence and compassion and creativity to serve a diverse district with honor and trust, then we will flourish as a party. I come to this Senate race committed to issues like environmentalism, education, and a sense of social justice that informs all of my work. And you can expect legislation from me along the lines of a tuition equity bill for undocumented youth, and a bill extending the scope of hate crimes to include crimes against the homeless. The best meeting I've had in the past 6 weeks was a meeting without any members of the Vacancy Committee. I spent an afternoon last week at St. Francis Center downtown talking to the men and women who were using that homeless shelter. I didn't think they'd be interested in talking to me, but they were intensely engaged. They shared their souls, and they made sure I knew that it was relatively insignificant individuals like me and you who could make a difference in their lives by investing our interest in helping these marginalized members of our community find hope again. Opening myself to that kind of interaction has given me the drive to follow my instincts and pursue my passions throughout my life. I know there are some depressed Democrats who watched the high water mark of our victories in 2008 and are feeling drained and staring at a ring around the tub in 2010. But I'm honestly still soaring. I'm full of optimism and energy, and I'm fueled by the desire to use this Senate seat as a foundation Democrats can build on to reclaim our lost ground in 2012 by standing up for our values and principles. Martin Luther King once said that burnout is surrender. He was speaking about the call to service in the year of my birth. This is arduous duty doing this kind of work, he said. To live out one's idealism brings with it hazards. I'm lucky to have been able to navigate those hazards and answer the call of service throughout my life as a proud son of 2 teachers, as a teacher myself who's committed to students from junior high to college, and as a leader of 2 nonprofits providing passive opportunities for young people for over 21 years, as a journalist who looks at every story as an opportunity to expand my readers' horizons, to learn, and to deliver a message, a meaningful message if subtle, and as an activist, first on behalf of the environment, and now on behalf of Democrats and our progressive ideals. I want to serve in the Senate to bring my energy and passion for service to our government, to bring a grassroots ethic to the legislature, and to keep standing up for the things you and I have stood up for as we work together. In talking to PCPs recently, I've heard from people who told me to give up on them, who told me they're disgusted with what they have done, with what the Democrats have done the last 2 years, how they've blown everything. But I discovered when I immersed myself in the party that there is no they. We are they. We must take responsibility. We make choices. We act. If you've got a problem with the Democrats, talk to me. I don't back down. I don't give up. I find solutions. For example, about a month ago, a PCP asked me a question about how to solve the mortgage and foreclosure crisis. I didn't know the answer offhand, but because of my work with the Denver Dems, I knew where to find it. I called a Denver Dem in HD5, I put the 2 together, they had a few conversations, and they got on the path to saving a home. You have to accept in the Senate that you're not always going to have every answer ready. But if you understand how to be a team player, and if you're responsive and attentive to your constituents, and you can work together with them to bring about change, to change the landscape in this city, door by door, block by block. There's one more PCP I have to mention. He asked me about the parts of the district that are more isolated and underrepresented, in part because they have a less active bunch, and there doesn't seem to be a constituency there. I guess you have to respond to the people who are giving something back, right? He asked. Well, first of all, this vacancy committee election means you don't have to worry about what someone is giving you. Money is not a factor when you're talking to 149 voters face to face, and I think I talked to 109. And if it were a factor, I've always pledged to reject PAC money in future elections, to run clean and respectful campaigns, and to denounce anyone engaging in negative, disrespectful tactics on my behalf. But more importantly, those isolated, unheard, underrepresented parts of the district are exactly the people I'm most concerned about and most eager to serve. When I started work as an environmental activist, I had a perspective I'm sure you're familiar with. I wanted to speak for the trees have no tongues. My character, my ethic, my values are about giving voice to the voiceless, about being part of a society that cares most about its least powerful and acts first on behalf of its most vulnerable. As Eugene Debs said, while there's a lower class, I'm of it. While there's a criminal element, I'm in it. While there's a soul in prison, I'm not free. That's our constituency, that's my commitment, that's what I stand for when I ask for your support to bring that ethic into action and put me into the Senate. I'm Owen Perkins, I'm a proud Democrat, and I'll keep working as hard as I ever have to earn your support and your trust. Thank you very much.